Julie, thank you so much for joining us in the studio today.
Thank you, Juliana. It's great to be here.
Let me kick off with AI and how it's impacting your business. There's so many different things we can talk about, and hopefully we'll get a chance to get to so many of them. But when it comes to AI, it seems to be a real double-edged sword for a company like Accenture, because on the one hand, companies will need you to help integrate AI into their businesses, but on the other hand, it's clearly a threat to some extent because it can replace some of the things that you're currently doing for your clients. So talk to us about how AI impacts your business model overall.
Sure, Juliana, so we see AI as just a massive opportunity. If you go back to November 2022, when ChatGPT burst on the scene, we had about 30 people globally working on Gen AI, mostly in our R&D labs. So the first 6 months we did $300 million of sales. In the last 6 months we did $2.6 billion in sales. A massive change in 2.5 years. We went from 30 employees to over 500,000 trained on the fundamentals, 270,000 deeper, and 1,100 clients today and growing. So just like prior technology waves, things change, and we are the ones that help lead companies to the change. And so overall, it's a huge opportunity, but not just for Accenture. It's not about Accenture. It's an opportunity because it's an opportunity for our clients. And we're seeing a lot of that here in the UK, whether it's Lloyd's of London or Currys or name, a major company here who are embracing it because they see it as not just about productivity, but productivity and growth, which are the two magic words for CEOs.
Well, speaking about the financial services sector, which is a huge part of the UK economy, we're hearing, from insurers, from banks, that they are, investing huge amounts of money in AI to try to upgrade their productivity, as you said, but also to drive growth. Where are the financial services companies in the journey? It's pretty hard to get a sense because, as a customer, you don't often see the impact that AI is having. So a lot of it is happening behind the scenes.
Well, financial services is one of our largest industry groups globally, and we actually just opened an innovation lab here in the UK. So we're seeing every day what's happening here. And where we see the biggest opportunity today, and it is very early in the journey, continues to be around customer experience and the ability to connect information to the customer and really change, how they're seeing, very personalized advice to them. So that's one of the biggest areas. But I would say to you, it's extremely early. Like, what is going to happen with respect to, for example, most of transactions are still on old technology called the mainframe, right? And when you're able to use Gen AI to move that to the modern technology, how you'll be able to do risk modeling, how you'll be able to understand your customer better will really be opened up, because right now a lot of that information is trapped in very old technology.
It's fascinating hearing this, and actually lovely to chat to you beforehand as well, because
yes.
we realised, Juliana, that Julie is using vast amounts of AI in her daily life, and I'm using a lot less. So I need to get with the game. But I do appreciate that, and I know it's coming. I'm not a Luddite, but I'm just slow. But Julie, the challenges in your industry are enormous as well. It's an industry which a lot of companies and a lot of governments, they like to dislike, but actually they need it as well. And there's great literature about what the consultancies have done and haven't done as well. But just put us, if you would, as well, we've talked about the great opportunities that AI can help and help mitigate the problems that I'm going to ask you about. But what are the biggest problems at the moment that the industry is facing? There are structural changes. There are governments around the world, from the United States to this side of Atlantic, that need to cut waste. And they talk about cutting consultancies all the time. Whether they can or not remains to be seen.
I think the biggest challenge that the industry faces right now is actually the macro uncertainty. So when we look at, what are we navigating, the reality is our clients are under extreme pressure. It's a big opportunity for us when you think about how we are able to bring productivity and growth. I mean, we have over, every quarter around 30 clients with $100 million in bookings each, right? That is enormous, right? That is an industry of one in terms of like our industry. But what it goes to is that they are focused on the big transformations. And in our industry, we need big transformations, we need small transformations, and there's just constrained spending because of the elevated level of uncertainty. For me, that's the number one, and that's true across industry. When you look at AI, right, the companies who embrace it, including in our industry, I believe are going to be the ones that win. AI is an enormous change for us, every part of the enterprise. And so if you look at an Accenture, we're helping with the grid. We're helping with refineries. We're in the core operations, and we do the enterprise corporate functions. And so our opportunity to help clients is very unique because we can do it in all parts of the business.
You've done a brilliant job of mentioning macro uncertainty without mentioning the greatest source of that macro uncertainty. I know this is the bit where you're thinking, oh God, how do I get through this one? But you're well trained, so I'm not worried about that. Trump, whether it be Doge restructuring and the chaos surrounding the Musk-Trump relationship, or indeed the Trump administration, we've just been leading on the China talks as well. How concerned are you that US administration policies are creating more uncertainty and delaying capital spending and delaying spending for companies such as yourself?
Steve, one of the greatest things about entering my 6th year as CEO of a global company is that we've all lived through a lot of different macro shocks and developments. And
this feels different this time, Julie. I mean, I've been around a long time. I started in this business in the late 80s or in the markets, and this feels different this time.
Steve, 6 months into my becoming CEO, COVID hit.
Yeah.
So, again, global company, right? Look, the fundamentals are important. And what we saw today was, yesterday with the U.S.-China, is that there's some real desire to engage. And so I think we're all excited about that.
Let me come back to my first question about how AI is impacting your business model and the business model of consultancies across the board. I certainly take your point that over the short and medium term, Accenture is a real enabler here, helping companies to integrate AI into their business models. But if you're successful in doing that, isn't there an element that long term you're sort of getting yourselves out of this business? If the companies then are using generative AI, that's the whole premise of using Gen AI, you can replace a lot of the tasks that people are doing right now.
Yeah, but they also need someone who's going to provide the great agents, right, who are trained. So think about us. We have a $10 billion business where we operate on behalf of clients. Our experience in understanding processes, right, is enormous. Agents allow us to bring that experience to our clients and make it even better for them, and so it's augmenting humans. So, if you go back to when software as a service was introduced and everyone said it was the death knell of the industry, right, because we all did custom. Well, guess what? We're now doing custom again because Gen AI allows us to actually provide more custom technology at a lower cost, which they then need someone to do. So the important thing is about embracing technology and then using it to solve clients' problems. We have never suffered for decades when we stay focused on what client needs. And then, of course, think about it, 30 people to 500,000 in 2.5 years, right? We're reinventing ourselves and our industry. So I'm super optimistic and excited because of what we see on the ground every day, not the theory.
We're not good cop, bad cop, but she's asking all the nice AI questions, and I'm asking perhaps the ones that you're ready for this as well. Accenture has scrapped its global diversity and inclusion goals after an evaluation of the US political landscape as well. Let me just give you a very quick anecdote. I spoke to a brilliant woman off the record about this, and she is a brilliant woman. She's a top CEO. I'm very proud to know her very well. And she says, we haven't dropped our DEI. We've just called it other stuff. We're just carrying on with the same policies. We have the same ethics about inclusion that we've always had, but we've just dropped the moniker and we don't shout about it so much. Is that how you're doing it, or have you dropped DEI targets?
So in the UK, let's just start here. We're 41% women and 30% in managing directors. We have an incredibly diverse workforce. We are not using the goals as the tool to continue to do that diversity, but we haven't changed our business strategy.
So it's not absolute nonsense, as the president calls it.
It is not. Of course not. It's our business strategy, right? We are one of the most innovative companies in the world. Innovation requires diversity of experience. Think about what we're doing here in the UK with movement to work, with some of our regenerative work, regenerative AI work, where we're providing digital skills to underserved populations. That's all about bringing diverse experiences.
And that's UK and in the States, trickier to do?
No, not at all. I mean, again, it's very different when we started these goals 15 years ago when we were not a diverse company, right? And so our business strategy is super clear. It's, getting those different skills and experiences a part of what we do. And so not having goals is just that was a tool that we feel we're very mature. And again, it's based on business value, as well as, of course, our values of providing equal opportunity and meritocracy are very, very important to our DNA.
Yeah, brilliant.
Lastly, just rounding out what's going on in the United States, we know that the Department of Government Efficiency has been under Elon Musk looking through various contracts, trying to cut back on spending. I appreciate you're in a quiet period now, but can you give us a sense of the outlook for Accenture's contracts with the U.S. government and whether we can expect to see some of those reduced in the coming months?
Well, we've been really clear in the last quarter about how it's impacting, and we'll give an update when we do our earnings next week. But I always go back to the fundamentals, right? Accenture delivers. Like, our purpose is to deliver on the promise of technology and human ingenuity. That distinguishes us from a lot of other companies because we're about results. And when you're about results and clients, you succeed over the long term.
I've just put in the following into a well-known search engine that may or may not have been using AI, and I came up with the story from January. Accenture wins £35 million more UK tax work, etc., etc. The UK government's going to make its big spending announcement today. Is it important for you?
Absolutely, because the UK is important. We're investing here. In fact, the UK is the second biggest number of acquisitions that we've done over the last 5 years. So we are investing in the UK. We just got about 6.6, which is a consultancy focused on defense, clearly a very important priority area. So we are here, we are investing, and we're super excited to see not only about the spending, but also the industrial policy that'll be released later this summer.